Biafra Alpha Power Media International.
Yes, fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom. I want just to apologize for the little bit of delay. Sketchy. This evening, our host is caught up with a lot of stuff tonight. So he's been asked me to stand in his gap. I'll be hosting the UK Deputy National Coordinator tonight on this wonderful program. Before we go forward, our national anthem, please.
Land of the rising sun, willow and cherry, beloved home, land of our great hero. We must defend our lives, or we shall perish. We shall protect our hearts from all harm. But if the price is set for all we hold dear, then let us stand without a shred of fear. Hail to the Biafra consecrated nation. O fatherland, is the solemn pledge. Defending thee shall be our dedication. Spilling our blood will count the privilege. The waving stand, the clinch and golden bell free, shall always be a flag of liberty. We shall emerge triumphant from this ordeal, and through the crucible unscathed we'll pass. When we are poised, the wounds of passion to heal, we shall remember those who died in mass. Then shall our throne, then feel that glorious song of victory, restore all might and wrong. O God, protect us from the hidden pitfall. Guide all our movements, lest we go astray. Give us the strength to heed the humanist call, to live and not to count the cost each day. Let those who rule to serve with resoluteness, to make this life a land of righteousness.
Oh, hey, Biafra.
Oh, hey, Biafra.
Biafra. Hey, Biafra. Thank you once again, fellow Biafrans. My name remains Mazi Nnamdi Umeh, and I serve here in United Kingdom as the North London coordinator. And today is a wonderful day in the United Kingdom, to be precise, and I'm happen to be privileged tonight as we have a lot of sketches, but at the end of the day, our main host on this program, which is Mazi Ezumezu, is cut off with a lot of stuff tonight as a family man, and you've asked me to come here to do justice tonight. And I'm privileged here with our Deputy National UK Coordinator, Mazi Mike, starter with me here in studio. And I'm going to let him to introduce himself for tonight's program. Mazi, please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, all hail Biafra. Good evening, everybody, all Biafrans and all lovers of freedom, all genuine believers in freedom. My name is Mike Statter, UK Deputy National Coordinator, and I'd like to thank George for allowing me to come on to this platform. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Mazi. You have done wonderful, and I just want to remind Biafrans the journey so far. I just want to show you a quick video, and we take it from there. Is that okay?
When he's a British citizen, has nobody behind these windows asked that question? How can you all remain silent? How can you all pretend that you can't see anything going on? It's all over social media. Catriona Lang, the High Commissioner for the UK in Abuja, has done nothing. She gets tagged in every single tweet that tweets about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and extraordinary rendition. She doesn't reply to anybody. You ask a question, she blocks you. Is that really someone in her position? Is that really something she could be doing? She's done nothing at all. She's a representative of the UK in Nigeria. She represents British citizens in Nigeria. Why has she not represented Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Why is the total silence? You've got another protest next to us here, a lady called Nazanin. Nobody's helping her either. She's a British citizen. What is going on in this country? The 67 to 70 Biafran war, it wasn't a war. It was a genocide. And the UK was complicit in genocide. The UK is complicit in genocide now, today. It's happening again. Yet why do we not hear about it? You go 20 yards away, the BBC cameras are there, the ITV cameras are there. Why does the BBC and ITV not cover Biafra? If what was going on in Nigeria was happening in any other Commonwealth country, it'd be all over our news. So why is it not reported? It's not reported because the British government are still looting all the resources in Nigeria. Biafra on its own would be a world leader in any way you can think of, one of the richest countries on earth. But the UK can't let that happen. Because if the UK lets that happen, it has to start paying for the resources, of which all the oil that it gets now is given free. How can you put oil above thousands and thousands of people's lives, slaughtered on a daily basis? Catriona Lang, who works for this office, is fully aware of it. What's her response? Her response is to go on Twitter and start dancing with the Fulani terrorists who are committing these atrocities. How is that right? Ask yourself a question. How can we stay silent when this is happening? You can turn a blind eye. You can remain silent. You can do nothing at all. But don't ever turn around and say you didn't know what was going on, because you know exactly what's going on and you're doing nothing about it. It is absolutely shameful. Boris Johnson, what's he doing? He's doing nothing. Buhari is dead. Buhari died in London in February 2017.
That's right.
He died in London in 2017. So why do you still put this charade out that Buhari's coming to London? Buhari's coming for medical treatment. The man died in 2017.
Yes.
And when that comes out, seriously, the UK will look the biggest fools on earth. The death certificate's there. It's all written.
That's right.
There's proof he died in London. He's buried in Saudi Arabia. And yet you keep that quiet as well. How can you keep quiet that a president of a country died 4 years ago and you're still portraying him coming here for hospital treatment? Is that not a farce?
Cover up.
It's a total cover-up. A total corrupt cover-up by a totally corrupt government. But when Biafra comes, then we will see who laughs. Because it won't be the UK. All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra. And one more time, I know I was in this protest, but standing by your side, listening to the words that come out of your mouth, you take my breath away. Being someone that, you know, dedicated his time and resources to support what we are doing, I once again thank you. And the truth must be told. It's from the heart. Those words said there is absolutely the fact and is out there, but the word, the narrative will always come because, you know, what is the world is all about is the oil and gas. And that is what we are facing today. You know, if you look at what is happening today in the East Europe, is affecting us here in UK. But tonight is your night. And this program was scheduled for Mazi Nnamdi to host it. I'm here now with you. Apparently, the reason for this program was for you to want to know exactly what has transpired in United Kingdom leadership. As I know, I'm a principal officer and I know how UK issues started. You guys wasn't there. We inherited a lot of chaos in UK. Those that will be sincere to themselves will know that UK was in shambles when you guys came. And one thing I believe in life is that you don't decide who you work with. I go to work. I just started a new job. I meet a lot of friends because I work in the same company, but I don't decide who I speak to. I can meet people. So it's natural stuff when you go places. And when you guys came, a lot of things happened. But I won't speak for you. I just want you to tell us, and the memo that was out, as a memo that came out from you, which if you want us to put it on the screen, or you can go bit by bit on that memo to tell Biafrans the actual stories, what has transpired in UK and your experience on your position, that Onyendu was the one that put you guys in this position to tell Biafrans exactly what has transpired for this past, if I'm not mistaken, 16 months. Thank you, Mazi.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for that, George. It'd be interesting actually to pan back on that video and see who was actually at the protest, because I think you'll probably find that the majority of people who are suddenly protesting now were absent for whatever reason. And I think that was the biggest problem, really. The problem started right from the start. And basically it was a situation where the former national coordinator was very, very angry because he felt that he shouldn't have been removed. No comment. I don't know whether he should have been removed or not. And it came about really on the handover, right from the word go on the handover, because when you hand over everything. You hand over obviously the coordinators' details, emails, who you contact, you hand over all the financial records as well. That's part of the job. And Dr. Okachi wasn't happy because he was on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast, basically saying that he needs to hand over all the documents to us, which he didn't. We've still never had any financial document throughout the whole of our time as coordinators. We never saw any of the finance because we asked questions. And at the first meeting we had, after that, Dr. Ukachi put a complaint into his friends Agbanyim and Adosium, because, to be honest with you, I think what it was they didn't want him removed either. We were an unknown quantity, total unknown quantity, and they couldn't have that because they didn't know which way we would go. And basically, I'll come that in a bit of time. We were the end of the cash cow, and they couldn't have that. Wow. Because what you started to uncover things. We had a meeting because Dr. Ukachi complained to Adosium and Agbanyim of his removal on air, basically, and the fact that he was told that he didn't do a full handover. So we had a meeting, and we'd asked a question. We'd asked a question as to where £10,000 had gone that was deposited in a coordinator's private bank account. So we asked the question, if the £10,000 has gone to wherever, it could have gone to ESN, it could have gone to, I don't know, welfare, it could have gone anywhere. We need to know where it's gone. We need the documentary evidence of where it's gone. So we asked the person whose bank account it went into for statements. This is people's money. And what people don't understand, when people donate money, you have to say where that money's going. This isn't just a throw £10 or £20 in your next door neighbour's garden and just say bye-bye to it. It's all got to be documented. But it wasn't. So we asked for the evidence. Where has that £10,000 gone? So we had a meeting with Adosium, Agbanyim and Dr. Ukachi. And Dr. Ukachi knows where that money went, because the coordinator had told us, you need to contact Dr. Ukachi. He'll be able to tell you. So, well, how can he tell us? You've got the bank statements. It was your account. And he agreed to send them bank statements through. We told him he could redact them. I don't want to know what's in his bank account. It's none of my business. But what was our business is where that £10,000 had gone. Within 10 minutes, 15 minutes of him agreeing, then he says you need to speak to Dr. Ukachi. So then obviously he panics, maybe. So he contacts Adosium and Agbanyim, then we have a meeting. So we start in the meeting, and what he wanted, and again, if he wants to, he can come on this and he can say it to my face, because I'm not going to lie. There's no point in me lying. He wanted my wife, as the UK National Coordinator, to condemn Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for the broadcast that he did, where he told Dr. Ukachi to hand over all the documents. And my wife said, I'm not going to do that. Why? Don't ask me to condemn Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Why would I do that? And he became very, very angry, to the point where I had to stop Dr. Ukachi and say, do not ever talk to my wife like that. Adosium let it go on for a little bit and then said, oh, come on, Dr. Ukachi, you can't be doing stuff like that. And he turned around then when we talked about the bank statements and said, if you think that I'm going to hand over bank statements, then you've got to think again. He refused to do it. But then Adosium, thinking, well, hang on a minute, Whether he knows where the £10,000 gone, I don't know. It's irrelevant, really. He said to Dr. Ukachi, he needs to send him a set of the statements, and he also needs to send us a set of the statements to show where the £10,000 gone. Up to this day now, we've never received any of them. And I'll guarantee you, Chika Edosian has never received them either. And then we talk about insubordination. They constantly talk about insubordination, and yet the people who are talking about the insubordination are the ones who are doing it. The ones who go against the code of conduct. In fact, I didn't question it. It was the Northwest Regional Coordinator who questioned a situation where a zonal coordinator was also the financial coordinator. Is that allowed? Is finance allowed to be done by the zonal coordinator? Finance is finance, as far as the code of conduct goes. Not when you speak to Chika Edosian. I've still got the email. His reply when we reported this and said, look, the situation's got to change. You're either a zonal coordinator, regional coordinator, or you're a financial secretary. Edosian's reply, where does it say in the code of conduct you can't have two jobs?
That's pathetic, isn't it?
I've still got the email.
That's pathetic.
And the reason was because of the particular person who was both coordinator and financial secretary. And we'll come on to that in a bit anyway. So how the code of conduct is a tremendous thing. It is in any organization, but everybody has to stick to it. And within the UK, who sticks to it? They don't stick to it because the code of conduct and the chain of command has been used to put fear in normal members. You can't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say anything. Say anything, and it goes against what they're actually trying to do, and you're out. You're gone. Take you, for example. How can they remove you as the coordinator for doing what you were supposed to do? You were removed for putting money into the correct account. And yet the person who put 2 or 3 amounts of money, of our money that we raised for ESN, to a MADA account in America under the directions of the DOS. And the National Financial Secretary confirmed that in a meeting. Who told you to send the money to that account? That illegal account. The DOS. And that's the chain of command, the code of conduct. Look at the finances now, George, here in the UK. Is the national account accessible by the World Head of Finance?
No.
No. No, it's not.
It's not.
So is that within the code of conduct?
Of course not.
No, it's not. And yet the idiots who continue to say you need to follow the code of conduct, insubordination. This is by the UK National Coordinator, Ohaneze, I don't know his name. He's the one who emailed and said this ridiculous subordination. You know, you're talking nonsense. Subordination. Then how can a UK National Coordinator allow the national account to not be accessible by the World Head of Finance? It's a CIC, it's a charitable incorporated company.
No.
It's illegal.
It's illegal, yeah.
It's illegal to only have one person as signatory in a CIC. It's illegal.
just online account. It was something that happened that we've been in numerous meetings that you and I know that Mrs. Sanya was a pressure because there were nowhere to put our money. So they decided to use the account. And I remember in numerous meetings, she mentioned that when that account, when she decided and told Onyendu, because she had that account, that she's going to be the financial secretary, but she asked her, can you add someone's signature to this account? She said yes. That was Cash Plus account, it's an online account. Everybody know what an online account here is in UK. You can't put multiple signatures in it, you know, because any LTD here is allowed, you know, they send you letters and all that kind of stuff. But even I remember, George, I was the time I suggested, you have your zonal account that have multiple signatures. Why don't you tell Mrs. Sanya? I suggested this in one of our meetings, but it was fair or deaf here to show you that there was an agenda from day one.
That
was an agenda. So what I want to say now, before we go down on the road, you mentioned two things here. Members handover. Onyendu have to come on Radio Biafra to reiterate about this handover properly. Right? And which I, George, have done numerous times. Because you see one thing about me, right? Like I said, every single person that live in UK work in a sector, right? It doesn't matter if you're a cleaner. There's code of conduct in where you work. So you must apply to it. When you wake up in the morning and sign in, you must follow the instruction. That's code of conduct. For people who doesn't understand what, to layman perspective, right? That code of conduct is what you do when you, just like if you go to, they say sign your RAMs and all that kind of stuff. You have to follow the rules and regulations. That's what happens, applies here in UK if you live in UK. If you know that country in the Western world. So now, and those are probably you're a doctor, it doesn't matter what sector you are in this country. That's code of conduct there. And if you're handling a patient, yeah, someone else took over, you don't withhold any information because if anything goes wrong, you're liable to it. So the same thing applies to whoever that was in a position and another person takes over and he meant to hand over, you have to absolute handover. You can't withhold anything. Right? Now, it marvels me because there's a lot of sketches, right? Which happens prior to this and still happen after you guys have taken over, which I, George, fought in with to, you know, to brought attention. So it is not something that is saying here that is lie. Dr. Kachi was a good man and I respect him immensely. And he knows that. In UK, with the first chaos we have in UK, I was mad, just like I'm standing today. I stood behind him when everybody was not there. Even when we have the deputy leader was in UK, resident here, you know, I respect him as well. Because all these men have done things on their own part. But when you fell off, when you say, when you do good, we praise you. When you mess up, then we shred you. And that's me. That's how I know IPOB. I've got no permanent friend, no permanent enemy. If you're doing the right thing, you're my best friend because we are fighting to restore our nation. You you know, because for me, a course is something people must understand is an ideology. And you join IPOB today, you have done what you have done and still standing in the gap because Onyendu was the one that bestowed this power to you guys. I just want to be specific on how things fall apart and where we are today in the UK. Because there's a written memo by you, you know, because you're going down to, you know, you just come in, try to lay that foundation of how things has gone. But there was a specific that you actually called Mazi Nnamdi out for his excesses, you know what I mean? What things he has done. Like you said, we got so many things, emails, you know, words, you know, conversations we can throw out there. But we're holding all these things back because we are principal officers, right? But it's when someone refutes it, then you can prove the evidence, right? So based on what you have said, and if you want me to put it on the screen or you want to go through it, just to let Biafra throw more light on that code of, you know, that memo, because it was what happened after the, you know, the shenanigans they came to do in UK, the takeover in UK, which never happened, that we still here, not going anywhere. So I want to throw more light on that. So Biafrans could hear from the horse's mouth. Thank you.
Yeah, put it on the screen if you want, George. Yeah, let people see. Yeah, do you want to read it and then I'll come in at certain points?
Yeah, I can do that. If you want me to do that, I can do that. You know, this memo is actually to Chike Doziem, the head of Directorate of State, and the IPOB. It was written on 14th of September 2022. Mazi Doziem, I have remained quiet. For the past 6 months for the particular reason of which I am prepared to disclose at this present time. This will become apparent in the near future, as I stated to the European Rep Mazi Abanim. Please do not take my silence for a weakness. You decided to remove the UK National Coordinator and Deputy due to, in your statement, insubordination and not adhering to the Code of Conduct. Up to this day, you have never contacted me by email, message, or telephone. That's awful. To formally discharge either or us or our duties. In light of this, I would like you to tell Biafran the outcomes of the investigation panel, of which IPOB European Rep Mazi Abani informed UK IPOB members was on the way. It was clear from the onset that the introduction of the new national coordinator and deputy was not of your liking, despite the fact that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made a decision. You, along with Mazi Abani and Dr. Okachi, have never forgive him for this, and that's awful as well. We were an unknown quantity, and you did not like that at all. For the moment, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinarily renditioned and held in DSS custody. You have all done everything possible to make sure that the UK is totally under your control, especially the finance. You have done this through fear for flinching abuse of power, and you are unshamed use of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's name in order to justify your blunted, underhanded self-agenda action. It is clear that within IPOB, the code of conduct and the chain of command laid down by Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are fundamental to the success of the organization and need to be followed by all from top to bottom. That's the chain command. To reach the end goal, which this in mind, I want to explain to all Biafran why you continuously ignore them. As head of directorate, you should be white and than snow, like we say. That is our mantra. If you ask me, you are neither Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's word, but you have continuously failed to follow them. My question is, why do you not follow them? You cannot continue to ignore the very bedrock that IPOB was founded on. Whether you are head of directorate or not, you cannot abuse to follow the code of the conduct only when it suits you and your friends. That's Cabal. If you ask me, that's _ Cabal, #Cabal. It is clear stated in the code of conduct that all finance matters should be under guidance and involvement of the world head of finance and a member of DOS, Mrs. Nenyanya, a woman of immense and integrity, as Onyendu said, and especially in the UK, it is clearly stated in the code of conduct that Mrs. Nenyanya, as head of finance and a member of DOS, should be given access to all IPOB bank accounts. I would like you to tell Biafrans Why? You have instigated and authorized fundraising events within the UK without the involvement of Mrs. Nnamdi on several occasions. I can attest to that. Mostly bluntedly, the lobbying fundraisers, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, knew nothing of this fundraiser. And yet it was forced through on a constant rhetoric of lies and deceit. And that's what we should say no to. You have given the directive that all money donated through IPOB, through UK IPOB, should be paid into the bank account used by Forest Gate. When Mrs. Nnamdi has no access to that account, it is clearly stated in the Code of Conduct that the World Head of Finance should have access to all IPOB accounts to eliminate frauds and to show transparency. And yet, this is deemed unnecessary in the UK. I want you to tell Biafrans why you have allowed this blunted violation of Code of Conduct to continue, even though you often refer from it when it suits you. Since the irrepressible Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been illegally in detention, you have systematically removed principal officers from IPOB within the UK under the umbrella of insubordination, asking questions, doing the right thing, or exposing fraud is not insubordination, is in the Code of Conduct. I will put it on. After reading this, the Code of Conduct will follow suit. It's very important. It is just using common sense. Remember the word whiter than whiter and whiter than snow. That's a big word. You remove the UK IPOB Northwest Regional Coordinator for raising genuine concern that a zonal coordinator was also the zonal financial secretary. This surely can neither show impartiality or transparency, a situation that is clearly a violation of Code of Conduct. As a coordinator cannot be involved in finance. That's what they told me. That's what they told me. But this is what is happening here, which I never involved in finance. I will come to that. Your answer was, there is nowhere in our Code of Conduct that stated someone cannot hold two positions. I still have your response in writing, a response which I found both incredulous and disturbing, a view which I still hold to this day. You remove the North London coordinator with no explanation. I'm still the North London coordinator. He has got no power to do that. I have to state that categorically. But thank God that my deputy acknowledged that. Surely, it cannot have been because he sent donation fund to the designated account, IPOB account for ESN and monthly dues, which we are donated by hard-working members. He was following directives and paying into IPOB accounts that are accessible to Mrs. Nnamdi, as it's clearly stated in that Code of Conduct. Accumulating money in an account not overseen by Madam Anya is insubordination. This act by the North London coordinator followed the Code of Conduct, but it didn't follow your right interpretation. You remove principal officers who give their time and money to help realize their dreams of a freedom Biafrans for no other reason than that they get in the way of your wider agenda. That is not an accusation That's not an accusation. It is merely an observation which results from the constant hypocrisy of your actions. You have been directed by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on at least 3 separate occasions. This latest one being Monday, the 12th of September 2020, to reinstate all principal officers that you have removed from UK. On all these occasions, you have bluntly ignored his orders. You will say that these orders were never given and that there were lies circulated by the enemies of the DOS and IPOB saboteurs who do not want IPOB to succeed. The difficulty comes when you ignore the truth. I want you to state in your next broadcast that you have never been directed to reinstate the principal officers in the UK who you have removed, and I want you to publicly call me a liar. And this is over 2 months now. I have never had a word from anybody. This should not give you any difficulty, because if you had been given this directive by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I am sure you would have carried them out to letter as our code of conduct and chain of command directs. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the only leader of IPOB, and by that fact only, whether in the DSS dungeon or not, you need to start obeying his command. He will be with us again very soon by the special grace of God. And very, very soon, I tell you, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu install Mrs. Tata and I, her husband, as the UK National Coordinator, UK National Coordinator and Deputy, until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu removes the both of us from office. That is the position we still held. And the principal officers we install will remain. Your nonsense in the UK needs to stop. Do the job you are given and do it for the betterment of your people. Nothing more, nothing less. Mike Stata, Deputy UK National Coordinator. Maz, I have to tell you, you really take your time to itemize what has transpired. And I must tell you, I took your time to read this. I read it before, but here we are again. I think every Biafran that listening to our voice tonight could hear this. And this has been made public before. But if there's anything you want to add to this, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's thanks for reading it, George. I know it can be a bit tedious reading something that long, but everything there that's written is it's the truth. You know, I've asked Chika Adosium, if I'm lying, tell me I'm a liar. Come on air, broadcast, and tell me I am a liar. But he can't. That was written before the broadcast or the telephone conversations or whatever they were came out, saying that they've ignored Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's advice. They've ignored his command. They questioned his command.
Yeah,
now,
we have them in audio.
Yeah, I mean, when people talk about it, what did people say straight away in the meetings? You act and then ask questions.
Yeah. Obey before complain.
Obey before complain.
And that's exactly what they are preaching to us. That's the irony of this whole the shenanigans these men are going around perpetrating. Yeah. You know, that's the shenanigans they're perpetrating. To be honest with you.
What I can't understand is the people, the Agbanyim, for one, who wants the UK. He wants the UK, and he's done that right from the inception of me and my wife being in position. And as I said before, because it stopped the cash cow. Is it within the European reps jurisdiction to do anything with finance?
No, of course not.
No, it's not. So why does he do it?
It's quite bizarre, if you ask me. I just put up our code of conduct on the screen to buttress what you have just said, right? You know, in that memo that you've written, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the only leader of indigenous people of Biafra, and is irrepressible. He made it categorically clear there. And I can tell you here, when you look at on the V, it says all position within all the position with the exception of the office of the leader of IPOB are held on probational basis, including Chike Edoziem. Chike Edoziem has failed. He cannot hold position when he's bluntedly, or it disobey our leader. The former head of the US, Uchenna Sebu, the same thing applied to Uchenna Sebu 2015. We were here. I George was the first person that questioned him on Facebook. He blocked me. Like I said, people don't know me. I didn't join IPOB because I want to be known, I want to be popular, I want to have anything to do with anybody. I have a deciding voice, and my spirit guided me. I don't know anybody apology, because you see, this particular code of conduct is where whoever that are written this is an angel. That's like I said, in every work you do, there's code of conduct that guides you on a daily basis, and it must adhere to it. So Chike Edoziem, so far as I know, like me and you know, his position for me is redundant because he can't even speak. He can't say nothing. He has, like today, we're gonna talk about this issue. Next week, we're gonna dive into the finance deeply, because you're a special, guest. When I'm sitting down with the host, we're gonna talk about things that make sense to be, about finance. But tonight, what we are dealing about is we are experienced with Biafrans, because people don't understand that Onyendu made this appointment, and it's only him that knows the reason why. And he can't question. I said this to comrades. A lot of people come to me, oh, George, but we don't know who they are. I said, but why do you care? That's my word to you. I say it here and behind the closed doors, because I got a new job, barely 6 weeks. I don't know who I was going to meet there. I miss some colleagues I know before, but I'm dealing with new individuals. So all you need to know, you have to have that ability to, to interact and coerce with people, to walk around people. You go to work and work, you want to get paid bills. As we at IPOB, there's no hypocrisy in what we do. That's what marvels me. He asked this individual, I have asked them, especially in the United Kingdom, I said, what is your reason you joined IPOB? Because they have bulldozed everybody here. They have shot, like, I used to remember people saying, oh, Cabal. And what I'm seeing in UK today, men have turned into ice cold water, right? Several meetings. They have put them in a box and boxed all of them in there. Some of them are looking for asylum, or some people want to be made. I have got no reason why people know that people are not turn what we are doing into a shenanigan, right? The money they have stifled, the money, all the money they have contributed in the United Kingdom, we don't know where they are. You just mentioned 10 grand. That 10 grand was in a Gumba's account. I remember. I contributed. I know how much I contributed in that particular, stuff. I got my receipt. Like I said, all these men should come out and told us what they have done, what they have contributed. Sucking me. I don't give a crap about none of this individual. To be honest with you, but deputy national, right? For the fact that we are here to restore Biafra, I live in United Kingdom. I got my kids here. Even the one I got back home. But at the end of the day, I'm not struggling. I don't need anything. This is my personal decision. After I went 2015 to witness Onyendu first time appeared in court, I came here. I made a decision. I will never step my foot in that dungeon again until Biafra is restored. Some of these men have not. I asked them, what have you given up for Biafra? What have they done? They have done absolutely nothing. But you see one thing that happened. They always been an obstacle, right? You could see. Look at the protests we have done. I'm gonna play another of your voice here, right? It was systematic boycott of the protests we started even before Onyendu was rendition. So I'm asking them. They had a jamboree in Brussels, where they now legitimizing the cabal, those that want to prove they're not there. Because at the end of the day, the guy that we are purporting as an infiltrator, the guy come out last week and said that he's working with them, right? So Biafran has not know that there's nothing hidden, because that's what they used to use. Oh, what you don't know is bigger than you. But now they know why they use that word, because this man is in one accord. Because let me say this to you, yeah, National Deputy. If this man were not complicit, yeah, why didn't they raise a finger on this individual? We came out and told them what to do to them. Common restraint order. You know what restraint order is? Restraint order, someone perpetrating on your name or your organization, they could not raise it. You know, he tell me they have anything to offer to us. So, like what we are saying tonight is based on what has transpired. But that memo I've just read, a lot of people, you know, our people, that's one thing our Onyandi said. Onyandi said, if you want to hide something for a black man, put it in writing. They don't read. They don't read.
Because nobody puts anything in writing.
They don't read. They don't read. I'm to be honest with you. They don't read. So at the end of the day, our code of conduct is here, and people will be going up and down and be talking, you know, about code of conduct, but they will never take time. Just like the one they coaching us and what we said, code of conduct say, when Onyandi is not there, Chikedozie will take over. The way is it in our code of conduct? They're propagating lies, you know, falsehood, going around lying to people, you know, because they're projecting themselves as the leaders. Because when they believe Onyandi is not going to come out of prison anymore, or it's going to die there. This is the code of conduct here. Just that he highlighted there about our finance or structure of IPOB. We see here, even when you talk about the hierarchical of IPOB, look at the hierarchical of IPOB, this subsection C IPOB hierarchical structure. He stated here, said the indigenous people of Biafra, bracket IPOB led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, made a deliberate and concise and conscientious decision to pursue our inalienable rights to self-determination through non-violent, peaceful process, which include, but not restricted to, all form of civil disobedience boycott. Because when I talk about sit at home, the sit at home, we don't sit at home, which is this sit at home now, they disobey Onyendu, is in our code of conduct. You could see sit at home here, on which we have done simultaneously from 2016. We start exercising that sit at home. It's there in our code of conduct. Now, someone will tell you that they implemented it. You know what I mean? All this is a gap. All these are. I don't know how to put it, but it is in the code of conduct there. And boycott, protest, and rallies being a non-violent freedom fighting movement, our optional methodology, therefore, is founded upon the enduring and effective principle of command and control. That command and control is about obey before complain. Now, Chikedozie, is he following the command and control where he, on his own voice, saying that Onyendu send a message, but he actually asked question. Now he's questioning our leader. Because the reason why Onyendu said they should cancel the sit at home. Chikedozie need to buy, I said in the last podcast, he need to buy a ticket and go to the SS dungeon and ask that by himself. If he didn't answer me, but he must carry it out first before he asks that question. If you want me to listen to him, he needs to apply that the same pressure that he putting on other people to them to do what he wants them to do. You know, so I'm gonna still go back and show you something on the finance he talked about. You know what I mean? He talked about the finance. When he talk about finance, you come down here in the finance. He says that on this section 3 subsection A finance. He stated clear which are marked here with green, right? You can see to ensure financial, you know, probity and transparency. The IPOB head of finance or treasurer shall be electronically accessed to all finance accounts set up by internationally or national, either direct by IPOB or by its agent or representative. It's simple as ABC. It's simple as ABC. It does not matter who opened the account, but the head of finance must have access to it. Yeah, it's there in our code of. I put it. It's in the green. Anybody look at?
I'll tell you what happened, and we've still got screenshots of it anyway. The lobbying fundraise, which again was not endorsed by the World Head of Finance at all. The money that was raised from that, despite constantly saying in the meetings this is not a correct fundraiser. It is not for the purpose of lobbying. They went ahead with it. They moved the money from Forest Gate account into the account that was the national account, which was single. In fact, actually, at the time, it wasn't, because Sister Magdalene still had access to that account. Yeah, they moved it from Forest Gate to that account, which was being oversaw by Sophia Kalu. Unfortunately for her, screenshots were taken of the amount that was put into that account before she removed Sister Magdalene from having access to it. And nobody questions that. Why would you remove the Deputy Financial Secretary's access to that account when you've just moved money from a different account? Why would you do that?
It's insane.
Why would you do that? But that's what happened. And there's only one person who could remove anybody from that account, and that's Sophia Kalu. But unfortunately, she didn't remove her name in time, because we've still got screenshots of what was put in there. So where is that money? Where I've asked the question before. Who are the lobbyists that this money went to? Because we need their names.
Well, the irony of it is that, you see, I always tell people, in this struggle, it must be whiter and whiter and whiter than snow. You know, it is now dawning to me that a lot of people came into this struggle for different intentions.
Money.
And that is why our leader said, if
money and position. Money and position.
If it wasn't for
I'll tell you now, George, there's people in IPOB now in the UK who would sell their own grandmother.
That's
pathetic. They would sell their own. You've got a classic example. Chief Nkworo. How can he sit in a meeting for an hour and a half and be told what is actually happening, what has gone on, the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth, and then totally ignore it and do what he wants to do anyway? I'll tell you how someone like that can do it, because they're already in the pockets of Agbanyim and Adosium.
Yeah.
They're already in their pockets.
100%. 100%.
Where was the the so-called UK national coordinator during all them protests?
No, nowhere to be found.
He was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been out of work for quite a while. I've got no money. Well, where's the money come from now? Because he's everywhere. I
got a clue. And Jamboree. The raising fund, left, right, and center. You see what I just put up here? You know, because the reason why we came out to educate Biafrans, and we are privileged to allow you to come out to give us your time. Some of them don't understand the numbers on how busy all of us are, especially yourself and what you do. Some of them don't know. And like I said to people, when someone is sympathetic to our cause, we must respect that. We're looking for voice. And that voice, when we had one, we must guide it jealously. Onyendu made a decision. You cannot question Onyendu's decision. Neither should I do so. Our code of conduct stated this clearly. You know, issue of that fundraising. You see, people that live in a grass house does not throw stone. I told them, I only come out to talk about what they have done. Any day they're ready to come out for us to talk about things within IPOB. Like, we're not talking about things that we're not giving any evidence anymore. We're just talking, having a conversation, chat. Do you know that the woman, do you remember the woman that was in charge of this, that even made a voice note against Kanu Takanu? I don't want to mention names here, right? But ironically, she was one question about that money. I've got a screenshot of her message in the forum when he was threatening them that he's going to litigate them because that money, they don't put. You know what funny thing is that was 12,000 they raised in that fundraising, that 11 fundraising. They didn't allow me. She didn't allow me the first time we told people to go. I came to that fundraiser. They didn't allow me to come in. I waited for 30 minutes. I screenshot it as an evidence in case they come back to me and said, well, I wouldn't put it on my on my zonal forum. Now, because these people are not smart, they are dumb. You know, what I did was I screenshot that message when she was ranting about she's going to litigate if anything happened to that money. When they wanted this emergency fundraising that brought all this problem, people were asking, where is that money?
Yeah.
What have you used it for? But now the money has moved into a single signatory account. Someone is holding. Personal account. It's a personal account. It's a personal account. Just LTD. It's a personal account on herself that nobody knows what goes into it. You know? So now that money, nobody knows where the money went to.
No.
5,000, and now they came back again and asking you for emergency fundraising. I'm not gonna go deeper on finance. I'm gonna come back on finance because the notion they are putting in finance, we need to. I'm gonna give them a ultimatum. If they don't come out and refute what they have said, I will bring our finance from the day, including the one they did in United States of America. Everything will be on the screen, and the whole Biafra will have it on Facebook and go and read it by themselves to understand the danger of these people, right?
But again,
now,
but again, not going specifically into finance. Where did that come from? Where did the lobbying come from? Albania.
Yeah. Remember the first meeting we held.
The European rep bypassed us because you see, this is the most ridiculous thing. Because all you get is the people who've been brainwashed and are in Agbaniam and Adosium's back pockets, is they followed the correct procedure. That's all you ever get. That's all you ever get off what's he called now in the UK. Because he was part of the committee. And that's the be all and end all of his life. Committee and position. Disregard everything else. Disregard the truth. As long as you are in position. The committee was his position. And you could say whatever you wanted that was fact. It made no difference whatsoever. He might as well have gone in that ear and out the other ear. Didn't make any difference because he had position. So that lobbying thing went on. People have asked where the money is. No one can answer. Because in truth, they have got no idea on the ground level of where that money's intended for.
No.
They've got no idea. They'll blindly give money. Money. Where is it? They've got no idea. And they keep doing it. Seriously, you could not write a comedy about this position because no one would believe it. They just say it's too far-fetched. How can Biafran people, especially in diaspora, how do they think they are actually going to achieve Biafra?
With this mindset and what is happening.
I'll tell you now, with the mindset that people have got now in position in the UK, you are better off how it is now.
Now, trust me, it's not only UK, it's across board. It's not just UK. UK is actually the top notch of the cabal. UK has been this way. Because remember, Onyendu and our former deputy came from here. So there's a lot of people that think they're connected. Don't get me wrong. This has been what is happening. Some of them get close to our leader. They think they know everything. They talk. They know. The funny thing I'm saying to the United Kingdom, and I dare anybody, you can't mention United Kingdom without putting my name there. I pay my dues. I was a grassroots. I started from position people never held before. Right? I started as a welfare officer. I've got bills I was paying in 2015-16. I was paying like £80 to £90 every month because I was calling cross-call. Remember then, like I was in India, the Bella was in India, and those coming to our joining IPOB, they don't give you their real phone number because they're coming to see what is happening. but we keep on calling them. I was doing that. I never complained. I never told anybody. So we should have positions. It's not position. Even before they put me in a position, I used to come to meeting. I carry the chairs, bring the snacks we eat in meeting. I buy them with my money. It's not. I'm not saying it here for anything, but I'm just saying to Biafrans, what makes you? What is your gig? What actually brought you into this struggle? Is it to restore Biafra or to you to restore your own belly? That's what we're saying now. And that kind of mindset, I don't have it. Because I said, the level this man has gone into, the zoo is even 10 times better than what we are doing now. Take it to bank. I said it to here. It's not that because if Chike doesn't be telling me to follow command and control while he's telling me that Onyendu send a message and it's actually Onyendu why. I don't know which direction we are going. And China some worries on the other side, telling our leader our mental status is not okay. That is something you see might affect his brain and affect the struggle. So when these men are talking incoherently with their mindset they have got because they believe that Onyendu will not. There's nothing except the only thing that pushing them. They have told them that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not make it alive. I remember what happened in 2015. The same thing. I said history will repeat itself. That's no different. But this time around, it is worse because the enemy within is more dangerous. Chike Dozemi was remnant of the former DOS because the four of them survived it. Probably you don't know. Chike Dozemi, what gave birth to Chike Dozemi was when the same thing is doing now, sitting on top of doing now, repeating Onyendu's orders was what happened to Uchenna Asebu. Uchenna Asebu was simple that Onyendu asked him to suspend his subordinate. He said he wouldn't do it because they are his comrade, because Onyendu was incommunicado as well. And Onyendu said to hell with all of you. Then we'll have a deputy. Deputy stand on our radio. That's why they didn't have any power to do anything. But today, they have now bought our radio Biafra. That's why they have all these presenters now saying DOS are wise. Ask them, what decision have Chike Doziem, not DOS? Because DOS is a body of IPOB. I don't want to use that word because some of them, you see, they have no permanent seat in IPOB. Only seat in IPOB that's permanent is our leaders, or the leader of Indigenous people of Biafra. Chike Doziem is just like anybody else. What decision have they made that now that leading us to wherever we want to go? That's what people should be. Some people will say, DOS are wise. He asks, what is the decision they have made? Even when all those Umada highway called him on a meeting, he has got no answer to question he was answering. Remember when they sent them to come to UK here? That was the Cabal. They come here to legitimize the Cabal and they destroyed the whole Women in the United Kingdom. They went to that protester, took all their numbers. Vast majority of them was in my zone. They joined through Zoom. They convinced all of them, right? But they were working with them. One of our meetings, Abani said, we didn't know. He didn't know. Because you were not paying attention. Why do you have a national coordinator in every country? That represents you. You can't bypass your national coordinator. That's insubordination. When Onyendu suspend United Kingdom, Onyendu called a meeting through Aban. And in that meeting, Onyendu said, I could have summoned Okachi to convey a meeting. But no, that's why I call Aban. Aban is the European rep. But Onyendu is the supreme leader. He can do whatever he wants. But he never did that. They never learned nothing, this man. They learned absolutely nothing.
They'll have learned nothing, but the question people have got to ask, and a serious question, is since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's rendition and has been in DSS custody ever since, in truth, okay, you've got somebody there who basically is giving out commands as if he is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with no thought for any process or any decency or any empathy for people. That's why he will deliberately name people who are still in Biafra land. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You would do that for one reason. You know what I mean? What has Chike Doziem actually said and done since the rendition?
Nothing.
What broadcast has he done over the past 3 or 4 weeks when there's been court hearing after court hearing after court hearing?
No, he can't come out. He can't come out.
Nothing.
He can't come out.
Why would you not come out?
Because he's lying. He has got nothing to offer. That's the fundamental. They've got the what they've got now. Let me say this to you, Deputy. Do you know that we have Radio Biafra that we contribute money to? We have one central command. Our media outlet was only Radio Biafra and Biafra Television. I'm talking about, we all have Facebook. I lost my Facebook when we lost our Facebook account in 2015. Radio Biafra Facebook. Facebook disabled my Facebook account. Now, as an individual, when this media world thing starts flooding out, all of us, like I said, every IPOB that have access to smartphone is a media warrior, right? We have family writers, and whatever they groom, it has to be under the structure of IPOB media team, not individual growing their own page that monetize. You can't say you are a freedom fighter. And they're using these people now to blackmail individual IPOB principal officers. None of these individuals have served in any capacity in IPOB. They have not given their time. What they are giving is to use their platform to earn money. And you're telling me that Chikedozium private messages will get into the hand of a commoner, you know, someone that's aspiring to travel, or somebody that is in a transit traveling abroad. Chikedozium private message about principal officer will get to their hands. And you ask yourself, which direction are we going to? You go to Radio Biafra, some of the presenters there are being biased with asking questions. They're being sectioned, right? So, and why you turn around and talk about the Zoo media? Why you people are doing even worse than the Zoo media? I said it all the time. I've got no apology to this individual because this is not what we signed up for. Onyendu did not groom. Our people did not die because we want to come and replicate some useless African country. But excuse my language, that's what Onyendu said. It's not me. That's my leader. That's what I'm borrowing his words. So this man, question is, now they are apprehensive because they have used a lot of people to blackmail. Those you seen on social media ranting, they have used them to blackmail people, right? One example I'll give you is Mazi Nnamdi. When Mazi Nnamdi exposed what happened in Company, which is still there, they are daft. Even he does not understand how United Kingdom function, right? I have LTD here, and I know how you function. I don't need you to lecture me about that. Now, you don't live in United Kingdom. I don't know what happened in Switzerland. But here in UK, you don't tell me anything in United Kingdom. These idiots, they don't even know that UK is a confederation country, 4 countries in one. Okay? And you're talking about someone that don't live in London. First of all, they lied. I want to ask him, he said, oh, I think United Kingdom is London. I said, but before you open your mouth and speak, you need to know geographically where you're talking about. That's number one. Number two, you lied against Ezeji, that Ezeji was the man that later was coming in his house. I said, no. Darlington Nemo was the person who opened Radio Biafra. Even he has gone, BBC has gone and interviewed him. Why would he propagate lie? And a couple months later, China Sawore again, I don't know what happened within them. They're now putting his name. This man is an evil man. How can he notify this? And he's a principal officer. He's a ghost. He's a ghost. Can you imagine, Mike? A secret agent now blow his cover. Educate them about that. When he comes to the web and say, oh, Onyendi said, I don't want you to put my identity in social media. Who asked you that? We don't need to know that. We need to know that. He blew your cover already.
It's just nonsense. The classic there about the removal of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's name from Company's House was a classic, and it was a classic from Adosium.
Agenda
from Adosium, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Okay, you had Carolyn, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's secretary, who was absolutely castigated all over the internet for no reason. Did Adosium come out and counteract that?
No.
No, he didn't. Kanunta Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's brother, castigated left, right, and centre, including the people who are in charge or allegedly in charge of the UK now. Openly castigating him. And they think by doing that, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to be happy? Do they think he's going to be happy?
No, because they believe he's not going to come out.
They don't believe he's going to come out. So
that's what it is.
And loot and loot. Adosium has never said anything about the people who are castigating Kanunta Kanu. But as soon as something that he has his hand in, which was the removal of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's name at Company House, he broadcasts what a wonderful person Sophia Kalu is.
A pioneer.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to say who told her to remove his name. It's obvious. And when we questioned Chika Radosian about the removal of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's name, I asked a question, a fair question. If you were totally unaware of it, or sorry, I put it first of all, if you're aware of it, then please, can you put your reason? So I fully understand what reason it was. That's a fair question.
Of course, yes.
If you didn't know about it, then as a British, I can't stand there as deputy of an organisation that's registered in the UK and stand by and watch fraud taking place. I'm going to have to report it. The Friday of that week, we were removed. The Friday of that week, we were removed. If it was such a good idea to remove Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as director for tax purposes, then why was a message sent from Barrister Ezumezu to Sophia Kalu on a direct order from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to reinstate his name on that company? We've got the text.
Yeah.
We've got the text. A direct order from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, get my name back in that company. Well, surely it was Mazi Nnamdi Kanu who said, remove his name, because that's what we're told, surely.
Even for falsify his signature.
Falsifying his signature.
On course of these processes, they don't understand all these are electronically documented. Is there in company's house. It don't go away. That's how idiotic they are.
Yeah.
I tell them, you don't live here.
How can you put someone's signature on something when it's in DSS dungeon?
I don't understand that.
How can he write it?
I understand. Just the same thing that happened in America. We'll talk about that issue of America, the Umeh account. I'm going to talk about it with my man when we come up our next program, because the issue of finance is what we need to hit. But today we're just selling through on it to some Biafrans. I left the code of conduct on the screen so people can be, looking at it. Makes sense to anybody. The fact about this whole thing is that it doesn't take any rocket science to know what their plan was. And let me say this to you here, Deputy. There was one particular appearance when you appeared in court when they asked him a question. Labalad or whatever, the DSS prosecutor asked him, are you the leader of indigenous people of Biafra?
Yeah.
It was supposed to appear in court on 16. His name was removed.
Yeah.
He's saying something here. It was Kanu that sent text to the woman in question to visit Onyendu. 48 hours he gave him, she did that. Now, the text message from Ezumezu was for her to remove her name as a director, which she has not done till tomorrow morning.
No.
Which Onyendu have sent a direct message from Ezumezu, which is there.
Yeah.
Is there. So if all these things have happened, we kept quiet, watching these people, these men. Are you for real, though? Do you know what is happening? Are you for real, though? Because if you go back in time, every single thing people have professed is what they are implementing. Just like what you just said. When Onyendu sent a message through Ezumezu to say that Caroline, Madam Nenia, Kanu has got nothing to do with his organization. She doesn't have made any broadcast to said or any memo to said whoever that pushing this narrative on principal officer under IPOB should stop now.
Yeah.
But the moment they made a broadcast about the fraud that went on in the UK, they ganged up and come and making broadcast to show you it's been sectioned. Just look at the tweet. Just look at the tweet he tweeted the other day about the court. Yeah, you see, when that's why the guy can't come out any longer. They'll be sending the one that bark like a mad dog, like someone that is hidden. His face does not anywhere. Like for me, I don't really know who the guy is, But until if only ask him to not show his face, he better stay that way. But for those, because now they're pushing an agenda, narrative. They're pushing an agenda. They've got our radio, the same radio, Madam Nenia pays for the radio. They're going on. She's still the one paying for it. The direct debit still come from our international account. So we're gonna come into that account next week. But I'm just saying it here. I want to say something here. Let me just read something quickly on this finance issue, right? Now, it said all IPOB finance transaction, be in form of monthly due donation, levy, or fundraising, shall, after gathering of such fund, be handed over to the appropriate financial officer, to with financial secretary or treasurer, who, after taking proper record of the funds raised, shall limit them into official IPOB general account as provided by the head of finance, to the all family units. So, Biafrans, when it comes to finance, it is only Madam Nene that gives order. You see, do you know one thing about this, deputy? Huh? Let me shock you. Our former deputy leader, which is Uchemofo, is in a mess right now. We all know that. But I will tell you, you didn't meet him. Yeah? If Uchemofo could have sold IPOB and cash out, you couldn't have met IPOB. I'm telling you 100%. I was told I have a direct contact with people that was actually pushing on him. Uchemofo had the check has been given to him. He could have walked away. IPOB is dead and done. But he couldn't have died because God ordained it. But Uchemofo could have done a lot of damage. You couldn't have get to where we are today. Uchemofo couldn't have stood. This Chikedozium and his gang were fighting against Uchemofo then as well. Uchemofo for one day never intrude in our finance. Because then, when we had that 2015 issue, those men that were in DOS then, because we have a coordinator, COC then, before the Ruanya, then they went around telling coordinator not to limit, just like what they're doing now, the same thing. And let me shock you. Chikedozium was the European rep then. Chikedozium opened an account. This same thing he's doing now. Chikedozium done it in 2015. To divert IPOB Europe account. Money. In 2015, he did the same thing. We have all this evidence. I'm just looking at them, I'm laughing at them because they don't understand that some people like us, we sat down, we don't talk. But since they have decided to make themselves mockery of themselves, we'll help them out, to be naked on the street. But what we are telling them is that either they stop or they leave IPOB. Now, it's something they have started again. They started it by saying, oh, don't send ESN money. Now they strike-from the fund because they didn't count. That's why you see they travel from now. They go to they buy tickets for themselves and eating rice and chicken. You didn't see them in Trafalgar Square, the one that came here now, because they know people will see them. Now they went to restaurants after party. They were taking pictures with comedians. These are people, freedom fighters. The comedians have for one day never mentioned Biafra with their mouth, taking picture with them in London. That's what it came. Jamboree. They come here with the funds they've gathered because now the money, they have access to money. But he stated it here. Every money that gathered shall be by the head of finance to all IPOB family units. Madam Ndenga instruct where the money goes to. We will come to finance, not today, but I want to say something again.
You've got you put a classic example there, the Million Man March in Trafalgar Square. A million normally is 6 notes, but I didn't know it was 2. But that's another thing. But you've got a situation there. What are you marching for?
Very fundamental question.
You're supposed to be protesting for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And in the same breath, you were shouting for Kanunta Kanu to be kicked out of IPOB.
Pathetic.
It's unbelievable.
It's costing individuals.
It is. Yeah.
Costing individuals. Very uncultured human beings.
I've said it for the past 14 months. If you expect British people to come on your side, to come on the Biafran side.
It's a joke.
when all they see is looting, scamming,
lies and deceit. That's what
lies,
lies and deceit. That's what they embedded upon.
Yeah, absolute lies and deceit.
Lies and deceit. That's what they embedded upon.
Yeah, yeah.
Dishonorable men. Dishonorable men.
Absolutely.
I have challenged them. Let me shock you. Today, you, as a British person, you don't need anything from us. You're not hungry. Nobody's killing you. Whatever that happened, it wasn't you that did it. I have this argument with some of my comrade. I don't want to mention them here, but it was issue of Carol Monday.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Woman, she's still with us, but she didn't know this. My fight, I don't come out and talk about my fight. But people I'm talking about might know what I'm talking about. 2 individuals. And people were pointing finger. One of them, his wife will not take oath. His wife won't come to meeting. He will stay in the car. I say, your wife won't take oath. But you're talking about somebody that have dedicated her time and life that doesn't want anything. Just like what he's saying. If you want somebody to be sympathetic on your cause, you need to show an example of it.
Yeah.
We live in a civilized world. You are in Trafalgar Square, which is a public space in this country, in UK, threatening people on their own space. Protest is allowed. Let me say this to you. I was the first CSO in UK, right? And I have supervised numerous protests in the United Kingdom. We used to see people that probably they were maybe expelled or whatever they're not. For example, remember when we went to what is it called? Jonathan Cooper's memorial. I came there, and even though he have apologized, some people still said, "Oh, he's been expelled." I said, "No." So far as I'm concerned, he's a member of he's on the oath. I respect everybody that took oath in IPOB, unless you don't respect that oath. I don't judge you. That's why I can comfortably here tell you about the good thing which Chemofo has done in the past. I'm not only looking about the bad one he's doing today. What about the good ones he has done? What about the good thing which Chemofo did? Most of what these people have done, it was some of these men that pushed them. People like us, if we don't hold our hearts, maybe we could have gone astray. But it's not possible because I knew why I joined IPOB. I didn't join IPOB because I want to come here and be rich or know people or make friends. No, I want freedom. So far as I'm concerned. So at the end of the day, what we are saying here is that Chike Doziem and his gang, because these people, our agenda is they have an agenda. They don't want our leader died in prison. I said it and I'll continue saying it. His voice, like whatever we're saying here, today is your day. Whenever we talk about them, we put their voices to buttress whatever they have said. But we're not going to play their voice today because this is a special program for you. So what I'm saying in essence is this. At the end of the day, if he knew that whenever Onyendu, what he said in his words, they want us to abandon our, how did he say it? To abandon our leader, right? So if our leader has been abandoned, right? Now you coming out to say publicly that Onyendu gave an order, you asking why, and he didn't give you enough reason. He carried it out. And another order came again. Before now, he said, okay, I will suspend the sit at home. When the damage has been done, because that sit at home has caused thousands of deaths in Biafra land.
Yeah.
Thousands of deaths in Biafra land. They have killed so many people. Just like you're saying, they come on Radio Biafra, they mention people's name. Just like they mention my name. If I'm living in Biafra land, probably I'm dead.
The thing is, what I can't understand is you look at the situation, and like I said before, what do people want? You should want a free Biafra. A free Biafra where you can go home. How many people, how many UK citizens born here, like me? How many people study for a degree here, get a master's here, and then move to Nigeria to work in a care home? To work as a cleaner in Biafra. How many UK citizens have done that? They haven't. Yet you're in a situation back in Biafra land where you have to come here and work as a cleaner. Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right. And everybody should get behind Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has sacrificed everything for you people. Everything. His mother, his father, his in-laws, his people. And yet people here proposing to be IPOB, we love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, then castigate his brother. Openly. Anybody who had a hand in the rendition will never live in peace, ever. Anybody who has taken any money will never live in peace, ever. Because the spirit of all the people who've died to give you your freedom will haunt you for the rest of your life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I sincerely hope they do. Castigating Kanunte, it's beyond belief. Absolutely, it beggars belief. It does. Oh, Kanunte, oh, he's behind this, he's behind this. No, he's not. Was never part of any of it. But the people who were are the ones who are castigated. The ones who were are the ones who are just letting anybody say what they want about him. And they need to look deep inside themselves and say, why? Was it money? What are you going to do with that money? Because you'll never live long enough to see it. If all the people who are doing what they're doing now do the same back in Biafra land, you're better off with a janjaweed. You're better off with a janjaweed. You are. Betrayed by the people who he trusted the most, because that's what's happened. Anybody with an ounce of sense can see that. People who he trusted were the ones who were behind it. Don't look at the government, don't look at the governors, don't look at Kenya. It's the people who he trusted who put him in the position that he's in now. And they have to live with that. And IPOB within the UK has to start listening to the truth. I said it in a meeting months and months ago. Position without purpose is pointless. People who've been put in position by Adosium to do what? To do what?
Is that an intriguing question? But,
it's not. Well, they need to ask that question. They need to answer that question.
It's an intriguing one.
They'll never be able to answer it because they're in that position. For a classic one, an absolute classic. We got a phone call. Oh, my wife got a phone call by Onyekarekekwe, Doctor, Edinburgh, months after we'd been removed. He wanted information, but he didn't get any, so he probably wasn't very happy. Talks about position, how he doesn't want position. You know, I'm not in this struggle for position. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, he was totally unaware that we had never been contacted by either Adosium or Agbanyim regarding our removal. Blah, 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 blah. That same week, he's put as deputy national coordinator. He'd already been put in that position. That's the type of people you're dealing with. I'm telling you, they would sell their own grandmothers if it meant position. Oh, total hypocrites. Total hypocrites. And he's a doctor in this country. Well, he's actually in Scotland. That might not be remaining part of the UK for long. Good luck to him if they want to go. A doctor. That same doctor who during the Brussels 1 million man march again decides on the coach, for no reason, because no one had mentioned anything, to again start castigating my wife as the national. Why? What reason can there have been for him to start castigating my wife? And I want him to tell me. He's got my phone number. I want him to tell me. Adosium. I want him to call me a liar. But Dr. Ikechukwu, if you're watching this, because some mole will be watching who'll tell you anyway, I want you to phone me and tell me why you decided to castigate my wife on that coach. Because you had no reason to. The hypocrisy is from your side, not from ours. But again, you've got to live with that. But I'll wait for your call. But that's what you're dealing with. I've never come across it. I haven't. I've worked in this country. I worked in this country for 40 years, and I've never ever come across people who I've met over the past 14 months. Really, I haven't. I really haven't. But all I hope for is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gets released very, very soon. Then we will see the truth, and then we will see who's actually behind him. Because it isn't half the people who say it is here. That's in the UK. Just hypocrites. Hypocrites are people who crave position, and they will ignore everything to get that position. If I'm wrong, prove that I'm wrong. I welcome you to prove that I'm wrong. Yeah, it's incredible. But we move, don't we? We carry on. Hopefully people will start to understand the lies and deceit that they're being told. And hopefully when you do the finance one, you'll actually show that where are people's money? People's hard-earned money that they're genuinely donating because they believe that it's to help people back in Biafra land or to help Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And let's see where that money is. Because it's not where you think it is.
100%. And that's a wonderful one. And I just want to say it, the finance is just like a preamble today. We're going to go deep on it on our next program with Mazi Ezumezu. Now, if you look out on the next finance and fundraising under and in the name of IPOB shall be undertaken only with clearance from IPOB head of finance or treasurer, as the case may be. So it doesn't matter what you do, right? That's why I just want to say it here, Daisy, you are here. The last fundraising they did, someone was saying, they send invitation to Madam Nnamdi, and at the same time they said they don't have to do that. Yeah. Now I questioned the person. I said, how can you send invitation to your boss? Madam Nnamdi is the only person that can authorize any shape or form fundraising, right? Chike as the head of Directorate of State have to rehearse with Madam Nnamdi on finance issues. He cannot override it. When you override it, that means you don't follow the chain of command. So when you override your own system, that means already your foot is off. And that's what has happened. So it is here. There's no argument about that. So, but what we want to clarify on our people is the doubts on finance and how all this whole thing started is where we want to go. You know, where all these things started. We have to lay the foundation, very critical, next week. You know what I mean? You had it on your memo. about finance, but has seen it here verbatim that you cannot, you know, do any fundraising without the head of finance approving it. So you can't purportedly say, oh, you invited her, and if she didn't come, and it doesn't matter. But you can't invite your boss in fundraising if Madam Nenya wasn't aware. I mean, critical example, when we did the first fundraising we did in UK here on ESN, she was involved in throughout the whole process. All the meetings, she was involved, and it was a success. We raised 37,000 till tomorrow morning. Nobody knew where that money went to. Nobody knew where the money went to. The so-called UK National Financial Secretary, with her own mouth in our meeting, accepted that she transferred 10,000 on the illegal account, which is the Umeh account, that Chikedoziem have come to the Biafra and said is Onyendu. After that, he reversed again. Before then, he have reversed and asked her to pay money there. So there's a lot of too many contradicting things going on. So we need to clarify. That's why when you're going to finance, we want to start from the beginning. From the beginning. But we're just laying the foundation as he was in the memo. That's why we just sailed through it. So going forward, we're going to have a special broadcast for that finance, because there's a lot of misconception within the IPOB family members, because they have poisoned a lot of people's mind. Now, the few that are contributing the money, now they are trying to sit on top of those money, because what they're trying to do, once they start IPOB with money, they think IPOB is going to die in national debt and our leader will die in prison. That's nothing, again, there's no rocket science. It's common sense. It's common sense. When there's no money, you can't do nothing. Onyendu will stock up in the prison. Just like now they say they give bail. The bail from onset has said until Onyendu is in a fire to make for personally I need, you know. So I just don't know if there's any other thing you want to add. If not, then
it's just a final thing, really. Biafrans here. I'm not Biafran. But my wife is. And my kids are half. You need to think where you go, what you do. Biafra has got everything it needs. Everything. I'm from the UK. We've got nothing. Because we take it from you. And that should be in your mind every day. And you need to think, I need to do something to get my home back. Because you don't need to be here. You don't need to be here. People move to a different country for a better life. And that's brought about by the UK. Would I move now to Nigeria? No, I wouldn't. Why? Because I have a better life here. When Biafra comes, as Onyendu said, it'll be the next Dubai. Would you stay here? No. But the only way you're going to get back home is to get a free Biafra. And you need to start thinking about what you're doing. You need to start listening to the truth. People could say, I'm just saying this because we got removed. That's bullshit. I've no need to lie. What do I need to lie for? I live here. This is my country. Did I need to stand in front of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and say what I said? No, I didn't. But I did. Because I believe in Biafra. Adosian says insubordination, so he removes me. For what? You tell me, Adosian, what we did, which was insubordinate. I castigated my own people. At risk of family, at risk of job, at risk of... So what? Because the bigger picture is what you need to see. What Chika Adosium sees is the hole that he's dug himself and he can't get out of it. I'd ban him the same. So I just say to Biafrans in the UK, within IPOB or not within IPOB, do what you need to do, but listen to the truth. Because if you continue to listen to the lies that you're being told, you can forget Biafra. And that's me. All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra. Thank you, Mazi. Mike Statter, the UK Deputy National Coordinator. So far as we're concerned, nobody removes you guys. The pronunciation never stand. Onyendu have reversed it. You know, we respect it when they made the comment because they're following the chain command. Well, as we found out the truth, we have to do the right thing. We have to stand on the part of the truth. Thank you for coming.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
You have heard him from the horse's mouth. This is our UK Deputy National Coordinator. Thank you once again for coming and joining us today. And may Chukwu Kabia guide your family and all Biafrans as well. Thank you.
And you're welcome. Thanks for the platform, George. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Fellow Biafrans, I hope everybody have heard it from the horse's mouth. It's a wonderful thing that our UK Deputy National Coordinator came out here today to set the record straight. And next week, I'll be joining our host, which is Mazi Nnamdi. We're going to go deeper on the finance. Issue of finance has been the decadent within IPOB. And anybody that fold their hands and watching what is going in IPOB is a travesty within IPOB. And the Onion disorder, what is the highest stuff in IPOB? The highest command of IPOB must be respected. The sovereign Onion dues direct orders are the highest gross of insubordination within IPOB chain command. So for every sundry must understand that we didn't join this struggle to make friends or make names. We want in freedom, and we will live in that confinement of freedom. That is why we are IPOB. Onion say, when you do good thing, we praise you. You do wrong, we shred you. And that is me from you from here. Thank you, fellow Biafrans, and I will let you guys sleep. Well, see you guys next week. There one.
Adukuno Vulajo Mone Yudu, Otabalu Kenepodu, Otabalu Yudu, Otabalu Kenepodu, Yagano Kenemo, Otabalu Kenepodu, Otabalu Gilelian, Yellow Magana, Gilelian, Yellow Magana, aha, the Rewada. Opo Yaludo, the Rewada, Nantiku, Tabon, the Rewada, the Secretary. Okay, I give you your family. Jimmy Gay, Datanavia, Loco Sisi Melon, William Morgan, I have to charge the melody. Mona than Banya, Diguela, but they Yabikwela Moyo, Yabikwela Suje, Awa, Lugudan, Mundu, Unamuna. When I get you go, and I let you go, Ekuvemo, Madija wine, where you go, Paluma. Oba, Jimani, Bajana, don't never go, you gone, and I never have a look over a year. You forget it and with the cigar. What did you I got you man? Sonia to one and a half or ya one half. Uno dedi,
Biafra Alpha Power Media International.